Turning now to cartels in America and the fight against fentanyl. El Chapo's son, known as the Mouse, is on U.S. soil tonight. Mexico extraditing Sinaloa leader Ovidio Guzman to the U.S. to face drug charges here. He was captured in January after a gun battle with Mexican federal authorities in his home state of Sinaloa, along with his brothers. Officials consider him a pioneer in the production and trafficking of fentanyl into the U.S. And his father, El Chapo, of course, already serving a life sentence at a supermax prison in Colorado after escaping twice from prison in Mexico. Newsnation's Jorge Ventura live for us tonight. Jorge, do we know where his son is now?
Yeah, Natasha, so right now this is just a major victory for the Department of Justice against their fight against fentanyl and the Sinaloa cartel. Ovidio Guzman Lopez, the son of the infamous drug lord El Chapo and a high-ranking member in that Sinaloa cartel, arrived in Chicago last night after being flown in from a Mexican prison. Now, Ovidio will be facing those drug trafficking charges here in the U.S. El Chapo's sons are responsible for the pioneering of the manufacturing and also the trafficking of fentanyl into this country, as well as killing their rivals and Mexican law enforcement in their way.
This is Ovidio Guzman Lopez, son of Mexican drug lord El Chapo of the infamous Sinaloa cartel. Tonight, Ovidio is far away from his lavish lifestyle as a drug kingpin in Culiacan, Sinaloa. He is now on U.S. soil. He is 33 years old, but when he turned 18, he joined his father's Sinaloa cartel, along with his brothers, becoming known as Los Chapitos. The brothers together are responsible for turning the cartel towards synthetic drugs like fentanyl. An unsealed indictment from the U.S. prosecutors earlier this year saying that it became the brothers' goal to push huge amounts of fentanyl, even if they would wholesale it at just 50 cents a pill. It still made huge profits for the Sinaloa cartel. The brothers deny this. As they flooded the U.S. with this deadly drug, the cartel made hundreds of millions of dollars. The U.S. State Department offered millions for any information leading to his arrest. Former DEA of Special Ops Division Derek Maltz spoke to Newsnation about the challenges the U.S. faced in Ovidio's arrest.
I'm not surprised it took so long. We have a very corrupt and soft on crime government in Mexico, and we should see this kind of result on a regular basis because the cartels are destroying America. They are operating with impunity on the southwest border. They are working with the Chinese criminal networks.
Ovidio's father, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, became the leader of the Sinaloa cartel in 1995 when its original leader was extradited to the U.S. The Sinaloa cartel was ruthless and killed rivals and Mexican law enforcement in their way of their drug trafficking operations. El Chapo would traffic large amounts of cocaine and methamphetamine to the city of Chicago to be further distributed by street gangs all over the country. His sons, Los Chapitos, originally known for flashing their status and lifestyle on social media, took over their father's ring over his extradition and only expanding his strategies, embracing fentanyl and becoming notorious for their particular brand of brutal violence.
It's a hub, from Chicago. They distribute throughout the United States, into Canada, and, all over. So it's a major hub. It always has been a hub. And again, because they take advantage of soft on crime policing, because of the politics that are involved in the city of Chicago.
In 2019, the Mexican army captured Ovidio, but not even the federal government was prepared for the hundreds of heavily armed cartel members who turned the city into a war zone. Eventually, Ovidio was freed again, but in January 2023, he was arrested and the U.S. government requested his extradition in February. Ovidio finally arrived on U.S. soil late Friday night and will most likely spend the rest of his life in prison.
Now, Ovidio will have a tough time in court. Homeland Security investigations did use wiretapping from some of his closest associates to show that Ovidio shipped tons of fentanyl into Chicago. Also, one of his closest allies is set to testify against him in court, and he is cooperating with the DEA as of this moment right now, Natasha.
Okay, Jorge Ventura with that live report. Thank you so much.